that want to learn about these delicious rapid DNA drops. I know, give yourself a round of applause. Hi, APLGO family. So my name's Dr. Erin. This is my husband, Garth.
Hi, everyone.
I am so thrilled to have Dr. Sarah Cascioli on tonight for all of you. So Dr. Sarah Cascioli is a compassionate and knowledgeable naturopath with a background in herbal medicine, promoting naturopathic fundamentals and remedies. She graduated from Trinity School of Natural Health in Warsaw, Indiana, as a doctor of naturopathy and master herbalist. She's been serving her community since 2016 as a traditional naturopath, iridologist, kinesiologist, I'm just going to say them fast, so like I can pronounce them, yeah. Educator and nutrition and lifestyle counselor. Her specialty is in counseling for general well-being. Hello, that's all of us. And women's reproductive health. Dr. Cascioli and her husband, Isaac, live outside of Columbus, Ohio with their 3 children, Wiley, Weston, and Ellie. So thank you so much, everybody. And Dr. Cascioli, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
Us too. Okay, let's just dive right in.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, for some of us that don't know, what is functional medicine?
Okay, so before I start, one of my main goals in life is to explain natural health in a simple way that everyone can understand, because I always want people to speak to me as if I don't know anything. So that way everything can be explained and understood really easily. So sometimes we have really big words like functional medicine. That sounds really fancy, but essentially what that means is that because I'm in the natural health field, I don't run my office the same way as Western medicine. So what that is when you say functional medicine, is that we find our job as natural health practitioners is to find the root cause of what's going on. So again, I like to make things really nice and simple. So I'm going to give you a simple analogy. For example, say you went to a regular medical doctor for a headache. Majority of the time, they are going to give you something for your headache. When you come to see someone like myself, if you come into my office and you say, I have a headache, it's not my job to give you something for the headache. It's my job to help you find out the reason why you're having the headache. And then we help the body to resolve that. So that way, not only do the headaches go away as a positive side effect, but we're also getting to the root cause. So functional medicine is getting and is finding the root cause to whatever is happening within your body.
That is so parallel to how we've understood so far as APLGO associates how to talk about these drops, instead of asking, what's the disease or what's the thing? It's what's the symptom, and right. Kind of looking at it that way. Thank you for that. So how did you choose that career path?
That is a loaded question. I can make this a super long one, but long story short, we're all adults on here, right?
Okay. Age-wise.
Well, let's hope so. Long story short, I wanted to be a mom. That was one of the things that I really wanted to be in life is a mom. And my husband and I got married, and I know people try for longer than this, but we tried to have kids for about 2 years and nothing really seemed to happen. And so of course, me desperately wanting to have children, I'm like, okay, well, what else, can we do? And so it's like, okay, in vitro or Clomid or any of that type of stuff. And my husband said, well, I'm not going to do anything unless it's not natural. And I'm like, okay, what else is natural besides having sex? Like, I'm not entirely sure. So, because I didn't know anything about natural health at all, nothing. Like I had never taken an over-the-counter medication, but I had never taken anything natural whatsoever. So this was a really eye-opening experience for me. So long story short, I took an herbal product and I got pregnant. And I didn't do anything else for another 4 years after that with any of that information. But what got me started in it initially was infertility.
Wow. Oh, you have 3 little beautiful, oh my goodness, gorgeous children.
And I love their names too.
So listen up, everyone, because I just think this can be an interesting question with an interesting answer. You don't have to share the name of the person, but you can, who invited you to take a look at APLGO and think about approaching someone of Dr. Cascioli's caliber and credentials and naturopath, but in my mind also thinking you're the perfect fit. So how did someone introduce APLGO and these drops to you?
Okay, so first of all, I don't mind telling you who it was. I don't know if they're on here or not, but Mike and Stacy Healy. And
wonderful. I didn't know.
Okay, and so actually it was Stacy. Stacy and I go to church together. Well, so does Mike, obviously. But Stacy and I have served in a couple of different capacities at the church. So, we just get to chatting, and Stacy likes natural health, and I just bought a sign on my wall, and it says, "The meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away." So I am extremely chatty, very, very chatty. And I love to talk, but one of my most favorite things to talk about is natural health. So if you see anybody talking to me, majority of the time, that's going to be what it is about, because I like to learn. So I know a lot just because it's fun to learn about. But then, of course, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't really know as much as you think you do. But anyway, Stacy and I always have conversations about, this or that when it comes to natural health. So we're sitting somewhere, and she asked me, she said, "Hey, I want you to try something." And I said, "Okay, and you will encounter people like me. Sometimes people aren't. There's like blind leading the blind. They're like, try this." Okay, well, that's not me. So I'm like, "Well, what's in it?" She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Well, what is it?" She's like, it's just a drop." And I'm like, "Okay, does it have any artificial colors? Does it have any artificial flavors? What is it? Is it sweetened with sugar? Like what's going on here?" Because I have to pay attention to what goes into my body, just because I'm the type of person where you know better, you do better. So I know that some people don't respond that way, but unfortunately that's just how I'm made, which is sometimes frustrating. But anyway, so she said, "I don't know. I'm going to go get Mike." And I said, "Okay." So she went and got Mike. And Mike, actually, what he did, because if you know Mike at all, he is what he says, he's a systems guy. So he is just going to bring you to a link or bring you to information. So that way you can read it, and then it makes it so that it's duplicatable, really easily duplicated. So that way somebody else can be like, "Hey, well, that's all they did for me." So what he did is he gave me a little bit of the details. Like he said, "Okay, it's sweetened with molasses and beet sugar. It doesn't have any artificial colors or flavors. It's the DNA of a plant." And I'm like, "Okay, I will try one," because he gave me some information, but again, I just want to make sure what's in the product. Okay.
Yeah.
So he sent me something. Obviously he put my name in Rapid Funnel, and he sent me a link right away. And then because we know each other a little bit, he said, "Okay, so now here's what I did." And I said, "Okay, what are you sending me?" Because really what she did is she told me about the drops, and then she told me about Rapid Funnel. So honestly, I was more interested in hearing about Rapid Funnel than I was about the drops. Wow. And the reason is because, well, first I was like, "Hey, this is a funnel on your phone. This sounds amazing." I'm like, how could I put that into my business? Because whenever you have to, in this health field, depending on what you do and where do you go, and practitioner lines and network marketing lines, you have to compete with Amazon or, all the different types of companies. So to always have that leading edge is really nice, which actually APLGO does, and it's something that you guys should capitalize on in a few different areas, but that's not the answer to this question. So anyway, he showed me Rapid Funnel, and then he said, "You can tell how long people watch the video and if they click on anything else." And I'm like, well, this is just brilliant. Like, if nothing else, Rapid Funnel is amazing. It would,
wow.
If you guys don't have rapid funnel, that was actually what made me more interested in it than the drop itself. So,
I mean, I hope you just heard that, everyone. I mean, some on our team are really great at, it's almost like I have this saying, I don't know what's more delicious, our DNA drops or our comp plan, but you could also say, or our marketing funnel like that. I did not know that about your story, Sarah. I'm so glad I asked, because that really is a testimony. And so you're wowed by the rapid funnel, which that's so funny to me. I love that. Then you dive in, I'm sure, and look at the ingredients and what the heck is in these drops. What did you think, and why did you become an APLGO associate? What did you see in these products?
Okay, so I tried one. that they gave me. They gave me a couple different ones. Honestly, I don't even remember which ones they gave me. And I decided that I said, okay, I'll try it because it sounds interesting. And at the time, I had actually owned a salt spa, if you can imagine that. So salt spa with the negative ions. So I said, okay, I'm going to buy the $600 package because A, I still don't know a whole lot about it. B, that gives me something that I can try all of it, like every single product. So I said the $600 one, that sounds okay. And so I went ahead and I got the $600 package, and I'm fairly healthy. I don't seem to have a whole lot of aches and pains. I try hard at keeping, myself in balance. The other thing that drew me in is that it's really easy to sample. Whereas when you have, I don't know if you can see my wall over here. I have a huge wall of supplements, but you can't open a bottle of supplements and just like take some capsules out. People will really look at you strange, like, why are you handing me pills? But if you have something in a blister pack where you can cut, which I think they're coming out with perforated edges here in a little bit, which will be even better because I actually have scissors in my purse now. I carry scissors just for the APLGO drops. Not really. I use it for a whole bunch of other things, but that's mainly the reason. But anyway, so I tried them, and honestly, it doesn't matter what says on the package, honestly, because they did a study a couple years ago about what was on the label of things. So it said that like 0.4% of what was on the label at Walmart and GNC and Target, only 0.4% of what was on the labels there was actually in the product. So it's a huge ordeal, number one, to know where your products are coming from. Number two, the quality. And number three, that you actually believe in that quality, because people can say a lot of things. Proof is in the pudding. So I said, okay, I bought the $600 one and I'm going to sample it out. So I'm going to try. And obviously you always give it to your family first, right? They're going to be your guinea pigs. So the first people I gave it to was actually my kids, because I make them take supplements a lot. I'm like, oh, you have this going on? Well, you probably would do well with XYZ. They know how to swallow capsules. They have had gummies and chewables and liquids and everything. And they absolutely give me a fit taking everything. The very first one we tried was GRW, which was grow, is what we call grow. And they actually, they're reserved because they don't want me to actually know that they like something in the beginning. So they're like, well, it was okay. It was fine. Like, I could do it. And I'm like, okay. So then the next day I gave them another one. And it seemed to help. We were getting ready to go to a soccer game, and my son was feeling under the weather, and he was able to play the whole game, run the whole time without having any issues. And then we didn't know if he was tired or if he was under the weather, which apparently he was under the weather, but that's okay. So, but the grow seemed to help. But the thing that was really cool is I gave Slide. So I started the group. So inviting them. And so you kind of want to give them a heads up and say, hey, okay, this is why I would like you to see this group. There's a whole bunch of testimonials, sending a sample and then saying, text me when you get this. And whenever they text you, to send them an invite to that Facebook group. So anyway, that is a fantastic thing to do. And so I went into the group and I started just reading a little bit about it. And I said, okay, I'm going to give my mother-in-law some SLD, which I'm going to call slide. She is the sweetest person, and she was actually throwing me a baby shower for my 2-year-old now, but obviously she wasn't born yet. And she had put a ladder because she's amazing at outside. She put all these lanterns up in her trees and just like, solar lanterns, and it looked amazing. Well, she didn't know, but there was like an underground mole like tunnel, and she put the ladder up, and when she climbed on it, the ladder sank and she broke her back. And it was really bad. It was not great, honestly. And so every once in a while, she still has pain, inflammation, all this type of stuff. And so we asked them to go with us to a fair in August, I believe. And she was just kind of acting uncomfortable. And I said, oh, is your back hurting? She said, oh, yeah, just in that spot where she had broken it. And I'm like, well, can I give you something to try? And because I've been in this business for a while, she used to ask me, but now she's like, she'll just take whatever, because she knows that I know that she needs to be gluten-free, and that, we don't do any dyes, and we don't do any colors, and we don't do a whole lot of sugar. So one of the really cool things about this is it's sweetened with molasses and beets. I mean, 1 gram of sugar that's awesome. But I gave her 2 slides. So she took one right then, and she's like, oh, I'm feeling something. I'm like, feeling something good or something bad? She's like, well, I don't know, just something. And I said, okay. So that was a Monday night. And Thursday morning, I have 2 separate offices. And so Thursdays, she watches my kids for me. So on Thursday morning, she meets me at my office, and she rolls down the window and she goes, what did you give me? And I'm like, is this something good or is this something bad? Like, how are you asking me this? This is how I'm going to tell you what I gave you or not. And she's like, no, that little thing you gave me, that little piece of candy. And I said, oh, yeah, that was SLD of a slide. And she said, I have not had anything work so fast on my pain than that. She says, normally, because she had some other issues with digestion. And so getting things to get into your body, get into the cells is a little bit harder. And so she said she took one on Monday night. On Tuesday morning, she had a little bit of pain, but not really. So she took the other one. And she said that it got rid of it completely. She hadn't had any pain in 3 days. And she said, normally that takes me about 5 days. I can't eat any meat. I have to make sure I'm not eating any dairy. I have to make sure that I lay on my biomat. I have to make sure that she has a TheraPro gun or something, whatever it's called. She goes, I have to use that on my back. She said, I don't have to do any of that. So I took 2 slide, and that was it.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right, I think I'm sold on slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So Sarah, one thing I just want to point out real quick, you're talking about the kids and giving them drops and stuff or that. And one of the things I recognized, so some of you other parents on here probably experienced this, when you find a pain medicine, the liquid that the kids will tolerate for the taste, then you better make sure you always get that flavor if you want them to take it. Now, here's the thing I ran into, though.
Gross,
if you notice, all of them started going to the dye-free one, so they're all white for that non-staining. So I recognize, like, at 2 a.m., I'm in the store and I was like, oh, crap, it's the white one. Well, the grape is now white. The cherry is now white. The fruit punch is now white. And, of course, I'd come home with the wrong flavor. So that's what's great about these is the kids love the taste of them. And it's not an issue getting them to take it. So,
okay. So let's dive into digestion, because you blew my mind when you talked about this in Ohio. So can you talk about the problem with ingesting most supplements and how this bypasses that? And can you say the quote of all quotes that I love and that I say every single week?
Sure. Okay. So there are different vitamins that are and I'll explain a little bit differently, but I'm sure if any of you have taken supplements, there's ones called time release or chelated or highest bioavailability and all these different keywords that actually mean something, and they actually do something if our digestive systems were perfect. And this is a a safe guesstimate, okay, about 85% of all issues stem from the gut. So majority of people are going to have digestive issues in some form or another. So taking a digestive supplement is only helpful if you don't really need it, essentially, okay? Because if something is bioavailable, that means that it's something that lasts a longer amount of time, so that way your body can fully absorb it. So even if you have the most highest bioavailable vitamin on the market, you won't be able to use it if your digestive system isn't working. So what I had said in Columbus is that you can't take something for your digestive system to help with your digestive system if you cannot digest what you're taking.
So good. So good. Right, everybody?
Yeah. Yay.
And if you get other people to think that way, so you can say things like, have you ever thought about it like this? We're taking things to solve our poor digestive system with things that have to go through the digestive system to try to solve the digestive system. And then I usually say, Dr. Cascioli, and it's not your fault. Up till now, we haven't had another way, right?
Right.
So can you repeat that again? Because someone's saying mic drop. So say it again.
Okay. So you can't take a digestive supplement to help the digestive system if you can't digest what you're taking.
So good. Okay. Now I'm going to give you another three golden nuggets from Dr. Cascioli. You talked about the 3 populations that specifically can benefit from these drops. And we know all humans that can, suck on these without choking can, benefit. But these 3 specific populations, tell them about that, please.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was being real long-winded. So number 1 would be children. Number 1, it's hard to get kids to take something that tastes gross for the most part, or if they have sensory processing. These people that just, the texture, the taste, all this different type of stuff, majority of the time they're going to be able to take a piece of candy. Number 3, it's not something that's going to be super sweet, so it's not going to upset any sort of insulin imbalance type of thing. As a matter of fact, it'll probably only help. And so children, going back to my kids, now my kids come in, they go, can I have a drop? And I'm like, which one do you want? They're like, oh, I don't care. And I'm like, that's not how these work. That's not how these work. I'm glad you love them, but that's not
totally how they work for me, Sarah. So.
Okay, well, maybe it does. I don't know. I told them they had to start working for me if that's what they were going to do with them.
That's true.
And then, so for kids, it's amazing. And on top of that, kids respond to things very quickly. So even more quickly than adults. And everybody responds to these very quickly because it's going through the mucosal lining of the mouth. So that means that majority of it is going to be absorbed right away, going through to the bloodstream right away. Everything travels through the blood and the lymph. So taking these are essentially going to reach where you want it to reach, when you want it to reach it, which is essentially now, right? So the second one that we've already talked about would be people with digestive issues, which is literally everybody, okay? Everybody on this screen. And then the third one is going to be seniors, people that are advancing in age. So, and the reason why is because we're born with a finite amount of enzymes, which means that we only have a set amount. And once we use them, we use them. And so what that means is that it makes it harder for us to break things down. Again, kind of going back to that digestive system, right? So when you take these drops or when you offer these to other people and they take them drops, they don't have to break anything down. That is the beauty of this product, is amazing. You don't, and I don't know how to make this sound more exciting, but you don't have to break them down. It is so cool. It's already broken down. They already have the negative ions in it, which is a whole nother thing on its own. It's amazing. So, but those three groups right there, whether you market to anybody else, just share with people that have kids, share with people that are always talking about how their stomach hurts, or, you know, they have headaches, or all the different things that correspond to the gut. And then the people that probably have really expensive pee because they're not breaking anything down.
Yes, it's you helped me realize it was, you know, with age comes the deterioration of the systems in the body. And so that's why the elderly or older people, I mean, and we've seen this on our team, so many people in their 60s and 70s having such success in this business because they're friends with all the people of that age that all have a health issue. And so children, because they're not getting their nutrition, right? Because of the food that we eat in the American diet, and they are
picky
pill swallowers and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
With digestion problems, which she said is most of us, and the elderly or older population. Okay, amazing. So what would you say to this? Dr. Cascioli, I eat so healthy. I eat only clean foods. I am a wheatgrass lover, consumer. I have my ginger turmeric, you know, shot in the morning, and I eat clean. Why the heck would I need to take supplements? What would you say to that?
Well, I would say, do you live, first of all, I'd ask them where they live. Do you live in the city or the country? So let's just hypothetical, they live in the city, okay? All right. Do you drive a car? Do you go outside? Do you have Wi-Fi? Do you use a cell phone? All of these things are what's known as positive ions. And the reason why everybody, when they go to unwind or reset themselves, is because that's literally what they are doing when you go to nature. When people say, I just want to go to the beach. I just want to go to the mountains. I just want to go XYZ somewhere in nature, is because they are getting all of those negative ions that we can offer in their pocket. So that's where I would go with that. Is I would say, okay, so if they live in the country, I'd say, well, do you live by a cornfield? Do you live by soybeans?
Interesting.
I mean, all these different.
You talked about how supplements are like the fast pass.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That. So can you share that line that you shared in Ohio about that?
Yeah. So that's I have clients that are, you know, all over the board. People that are like, just give me a supplement, or people that are like, I don't want to take any supplements whatsoever because, you know, everything has to be through diet or whatever, which honestly, fixing your diet is amazing and it's going to help in so many ways. And if that's the only thing you did, that would be fantastic. However, when people come, the reason why people take supplements is because, in my opinion, this is my view, you can get to where you want to go in your health journey by changing your lifestyle, your diet, okay? You can. It just might take you like 20 years. So in my opinion, and majority of Americans, because we always want everything right away, like, you know, DVR, fast food, you know, all the things, supplements are like the vehicle, the car to get you to where you want to go. So do you want to get there? Do you want to get there? Number one, because we have to have people that actually want to go somewhere with their health, right? Mm-hmm. So number one, you want to get there. Do you want to get there walking, or do you want to get there driving a car? In my opinion, I'm going to hop in the car.
Yeah. Do you want to get to your health goals slow or fast? That question you said in Ohio has just helped me so much. So I hope that you find massive value out of that. Write that down. Do you want to get to your health goals slow or fast? Everyone's going to say fast. That's what supplements do. And then maybe a sentence or two about your thoughts about soil depletion and how that might factor in too. But I can eat an orange, and I can eat an apple and be healthy.
Oh yeah. Okay. So just let's even use the orange. For example, if you were to eat, in order to get the same amount of vitamin A from one orange 50 years ago, you'll have to eat 8 now. So it's not even about, like, that's why I said it'd take you 20 years. I mean, you know, it seems a little inflated, but honestly, because people rotate and, you know, they're constantly having things in the soil, and because of all the things that have been engineered to all the positive ions, essentially. The soil is depleted of all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. So honestly, I believe that supplements are, I believe the body has the innate ability to heal itself as long as we give it what it needs. And supplements are called supplements for a reason. If I was to tell you to take something for the rest of your life, it's no longer a supplement, but a medication. So, so what happens is, even if we're eating all local, organic, non-GMO, which are all fantastic things that I would suggest you do if you can, you're still going to be lacking certain things. So even these people that say that they're so healthy, but they're not doing anything else to supplement things that they're not getting from the soil, I would have to say, I would say BS, but I would have to call them out on that because that's not entirely accurate. So I would say, honestly, a multi is one of those things that you should be adding in. And honestly, you can't go wrong with negative ions either. So.
Wow. I have one more question, then we're going to open it up. We got 10 more minutes. Thank you so much. When you look to the future of APLGO and what we're launching in January and our products, like what are you most excited about, or how are you feeling about this company and these products?
Okay, so I don't know if I can get any more thrilled with the product. I know that they offer other things that they haven't launched in America yet, but if it was only drops, if it was only the negative ion drops, I would still be thrilled with it. Like this is something that's never been seen before. Honestly, I was extremely skeptical when they tried to give me a drop with plants in it. I was like, do you understand what a plant is? It is gross. Yeah,
it's gross.
Like no one likes to eat like bitter herbs. Like they're bitter. I mean, there will be a couple of people on here that say, oh my gosh, no, I love this one. Well, I'm not that person. So I am like, give me 40 capsules before a teaspoon of something gross. And you're telling me that there's plants in here. I'm like, I'm going to need to know everything about it. So one other thing I wanted to mention that is so amazing is that it's not heated above 80 degrees, which means raw vegans can take this. What that means is that there's everything still in the plant. And that is huge, because whenever you heat something up, you ruin the enzymes, okay? The reason why you want enzymes is because when people say to eat real food, I used to get so annoyed because, again, I'm a simple person. I want you to explain it to me simple. So when people said, like, the reason why cereal can stay on your shelf for 2 years is because it doesn't have any enzymes in it. They took all of it out. When you eat real food, when you drop an apple and it bruises, you want to know why it bruises, it starts to go bad there, is because you've started the enzymatic process. So eating whole foods are foods that have, not all of them, but vitamins and minerals, and it has those enzymes that help your body to break it down. This is why you want those types of things. And so whenever you can get a supplement, this is essentially kind of like, well, I don't know if I can really say that, but like a whole food supplement type of thing, because it's the whole plant. And so coming from somebody that likes to know about plants and what they do and how they work and all this kind of stuff, everything operates off of a frequency. So every frequency from that plant is still in those drops. So it's mind-blowing, and I can't see why anybody wouldn't want to at least even try it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We just need to adopt a little bit of her posture and confidence around this, right? Like borrow her belief, borrow her posture. Like, oh my gosh, master herbalist. I don't see why everyone wouldn't want to be on these. I mean, that's old and I love it. Questions. Does anyone have a question?
And what I would suggest is use the raise your hand feature or type it in the chat. Otherwise we're going to have 20 people talking over each other.
Again, thank you, Dr. Cascioli. I can't wait to see you hopefully in Orlando. Say hi to the kids and Isaac, and thank you for your expertise so much. We're so happy you were here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Everyone.